How y'all doing? Welcome to the Blue Chip Podcast by fans for fans. It's your host Cody Potter. How y'all doing, man? We're going to go over the Bengals and Commanders preseason game. Got a couple little clips for you and things like that, man. But it was a pretty exciting game. Jaden Daniels did play a series. Joe Burrow played quite a few series, a lot more than I was expecting him to play. Just a good game, man. This was Jaden Daniels warming up, man. We sat in the end zone. It was pretty cool, man. Pretty tight, pretty cool seats, man. Right by the stand, right by the tunnel, watching the players come out and things like that, man. It was really, really cool just to get there and, watch everything up close, see all the things that you were trying to see. See the offense, see the defense, see things like that. Bunch of starters didn't play, but there was a lot to take away from the game, man. A lot of the things that you want to see from the game, you did get to see. It was a pretty cool game, man. Out of everything that was going on at the game, man, the biggest thing that I took away from it was the offensive line with no Laramie Tunsil, no Zach Ertz, man, but you got to see John Bates doing some blocking. You got to see Sanat running some routes and things like that. I still need to see a little bit more from him as far as getting open, but he was open on a couple plays. They actually threw the ball his way a couple times, just didn't connect. But Jaden Daniels, he only played 4 plays on offense. It takes a little bit more than just being able to do that. This was the play from Deebo Samuel on the end around. Deebo looks fast. Deebo looks good. 19 yards to open up the game on the first drive. Man, that was pretty cool. Most of the clips that I do have are from the first drive. But it was a good game, man. It was pretty cool just to, be there and check out the offense, man. See these guys live. See all the things that you want to see. From that group collectively. Josh Connerly, our first round pick, I was very high on him going into the draft. Was very, very surprised that he was being mocked in that range. Ended up holding true. He ended up falling to that range. I think that is more a gift for us than anything else. Trey Amos did not play. But you're seeing the guys come together. You're seeing this team come together. Terry McLaurin, of course, didn't play as we deal with the contract. I'll get into that a little bit more later. I knew I said I did a pod about not talking about the Terry McLaurin contract, man, but this has just been kind of crazy, so I will get into that a little bit later. But just the offense, man, as a whole, man, it was really cool to see this team play the way that it did. This is more clips from the first drive. This was after the Deebo Samuel play right here, man. Chris Rodriguez had a pretty big run down the field. The offense just looked good, man. We ran 4 plays with Jaden Daniels on offense, and we scored. So, when you have a 4-play drive 80 yards down the field, you have a Chris Rodriguez run like this, man, where you got the offensive line pulling. And like I said, man, when you don't have Laramie Tunsil, you don't have Brandon Coleman on the field. So those are 2 of your best linemen. And then you draft Connerly, you expected him to be one of your best linemen. Tyler Biadasz, of course, did play. He showed last year that he is a leader on this team. Sam Cosmi was not in the game. He is one of your best linemen, holding over. So again, you got 5 guys that can legitimately road grade. You got 5 guys that can legitimately pull. You got 5 guys that are good at run blocking. You got 5 guys that are good at pass blocking. So, man, just there's a lot of excitement for this offensive line, man. It's going to be what drives this team to whatever point that they make it to this year. Whether it's week 1, wild card week into the playoffs, is it no playoffs, or are they going to the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl? Whatever it is, it's going to be behind this offensive line and how good they can protect Jaden Daniels, and how good they can run block and open up lanes for Bill Merritt. There's another, kind of subtopic, when it comes to the Bill Jacory Klosky Merritt kind of thing. There's a lot that goes into it, man. There's Jaden Daniels scoring right there, and then the video loops. So those are the videos that we have from the game, man. But so a big thing going into the game before Bill did score his first touchdown as a pro. That was pretty cool watching Jaden Daniels run around trying to get him the ball. That was another little sub thing to the game. But as far as the running back goes, man, so here we go. We got Brandon Brian Robinson Jr., before the game, he wasn't going to be dressed, wasn't even with the team. There are trade rumors that could be coming out anytime now. So we got a lot more off the field things than I really thought that we would have this year. But this is what happens when you have consistent vision from your GM, man. He is not just going to let Brian Robinson. I mean, he could just release him and things like that out of respect, if he's not going to get the value that he wants in return for him. But he's giving Brian Robinson a chance now to look for, another team. It'll give him a chance to latch on with another team, instead of just, things like this. Like basically, clearly they weren't happy with his run style. I think they would have liked to address the running back position a little bit earlier in the draft than what they did. But when they got Bill comes in, I think he gives you a little bit of something. I think they were looking more in the Austin Eckler skill set, because Austin Eckler is an aging veteran. But then, you also had Chris Rodriguez come in who had, the long run in that first clip. When he comes in, transforms his body, he has a little bit more burst this year. You can see it. I saw it in camp. You see it now. He was always pretty good at, the pass blocking department, so, you get an upgrade from Brian Robinson Jr., from Chris Rodriguez in the pass blocking department. Austin Eckler pass blocks. Bill showed that he could pass block in the few reps that you saw against him in the Patriots game. I'm sure they saw more in the Patriots practice and at practice than we've seen so far in reps. So you keep stacking all these things together, and you have a player that's not going to get re-signed here next year anyway. You're trying to recoup some value with him. Brian Robinson's been a good player for this team, man. He's a bruising running back. Would I keep him personally? More than likely, just because of the injury risk and all the things that come into it. But like I said, if he's not going to re-sign next year, if you can get any kind of value from him right now, I think you take that. So I think that's what AP is doing. If you get any kind of draft compensation, man, with all the draft picks that we've given up for the Laramie Tunsil trade next year, you don't have a 2 next year. I think it's a 4 next year that you don't have. Maybe it's a 3. So you're talking 2 really quality assets that you would like to somehow maybe recoup, throughout this year, and maybe next year as you're moving a piece that you're not going to re-sign. We got some vets. That are coming up in contract year, man. They're going to want new contracts next year besides just the Terry McLaurin situation this year. You're going to pay Laramie Tunsil. That's not even a question. He's pretty much guaranteed to get re-upped. He looks really, really good in shape. He looked really, really good in camp. He looked really, really good in the Patriots practice. We haven't yet seen him in game action, but we don't need to see him in game action as far as the preseason goes. Him and Brandon Coleman should look really, really good together on that left side. And then whenever Sam Cosmi comes back, I expect him and Josh Connerly Jr. to look really good on the right side. And then Tyler Biadasz holds the whole thing down with the calls, the blitz packages and things like that. He makes all the calls on the offensive line. So that's just another thing. And then you got Jaden Daniels, who's excelling, and just you see from this year's clips to last year, man, like the dude just clearly puts in the work, man. He scouts himself. He does everything you need behind the scenes. He makes Cliff Kingsbury's job a little bit easier, man. He makes everything easier on the receivers, makes everything easier on the offensive line, man. He's just a really, really good player from the run, from the pass. He's everything you want, man. Then you saw from, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt getting his first touchdown, man. He went and got him his ball, man. He's just the consummate pro. He's a consummate teammate, man. He's everything you want from the quarterback position. So there's a lot of excitement to be had there. My best wishes personally to be Rob wherever he goes, man. If I'm looking around the league and I'm thinking about a situational fit, whether it's the trade route, if it is the trade route, I look at San Francisco. I look at the Miami Dolphins with Devon Achane not being in. They're going to want another running back. Apparently, it's a lower leg injury. If it's down to the Achilles area and it is an ankle, you don't want to rush that back. And Devon Achane's already had things. And if you're talking about a player as explosive as he is, an Achilles injury is the last thing you want to put him out and risk him on, because he is such a dynamic weapon. And honestly, with all the things going on in Miami, man, you hold him back. If it's San Francisco, you're talking about your second running back having shoulder surgery. He's out for the year. You got Christian McCaffrey, who I think Brian Robinson will be a great complement piece for. When Christian McCaffrey is healthy and he's on the field, man, we all know what Christian McCaffrey is as a player. So if you add a B-Rob to that, you have that offensive line, you have the camaraderie, then you have the AP, and the relationship that he has with San Francisco, you're probably talking about a team that can make that deal and get it done. So again, those are just two fits that I would look at for the Brian Robinson thing. I'm sure there's a couple other teams that would like to have a big physical running back that when you get into the red zone, man. Brian Robinson's a good player, man, and he does have a little bit of juice. I mean, he doesn't have the long breakaway speed, but you've seen him break runs when he has really good eyes, when he's actually seeing the field the way that you want him to. And maybe, honestly, just another change of scenery would be good for him. There are teams that Brian Robinson Jr. can very much add value to, and I hope he goes to a team that has a chance to compete, maybe, man, for him, because he's going to miss out on that here. But again, Brian Robinson's been an awesome human. He's been an awesome player on and off the field for us. I wish him nothing but the best moving forward, man. But to get to even more about the Bengals and Commanders, the game, players that were actually playing in the game and not playing in the game that we're going to see an impact on for this team for this year. Trey Amos, like I said, he didn't play. The secondary looked good. The secondary looked really good in that first drive. The second drive and the third drive, we saw some pressure coming from some of the positions that we saw, I think, last year. Joey Jr.'s making a little bit of, he's figuring these guys out, man. Dorrance Armstrong lining up over the guard. That seems to work. Worked last year. He had, 6-7 sacks last year. Hard to remember. It was somewhere in that range, but most of his sacks came when he was lining up over top of a guard and not lining up out on the outside true edge. Whether the line was shifted, whether it was a stunt formation, things like that. Dorrance Armstrong can get to the quarterback, man, but he also has an impact in the run game. We held up pretty good against the run, man. We got into some third and shorts. We got them down in the fourth down. They just barely got it one time. But when you have Jamar Chase on the field and T. Higgins, man, the main thing you're looking for is don't give up a play over the top. Quan Martin looked really, really good in this game. He's about to have a hell of a year. But I honestly think that with everybody in this secondary, man, like Will Harris looked really, really good. Marshawn Latimer looked really, really good in this game. Noah I, man, he looks really, really good in this game, man. He's probably going to be your backup to Mikey Samerstill, who looked good in this game. Trey Amos has looked good all camp. You held him out just because it's the preseason. No reason to even put him out there and risk it. He's going to be a starter week 1. I think we can pretty much lock that in now. I've been saying it all season that you could lock that in, but yeah, you can definitely lock that in. This secondary looks really, really good, man. And then everything that I'm seeing is everything that I was expecting to see from the secondary, the growth from certain players. You can tell that Marshawn Latimer is comfortable, man. They actually had him traveling around with Jamar Chase, man, which is something that I like. That was something that I was looking for last year. But when you trade for an injured player and then he's injured, you're just play one side, limited responsibilities on the things, man. You can tell now he's into the playbook. I'm sure the coaches' staff has seen everything they need to know. They trust Marshawn Latimer out there. There was a reason they brought him in. We're going to see the fruits of all that this year. So, everybody that's knocking him for what it looked like against Philly and Mike Evans last year when he was just playing unhealthy, we're going to see the true Marshawn Latimer this year, man. We're going to see an A+ player from that position. I expect him to re-sign with this team after this year, man. People, I think, are like, oh, he's not going to have that total turnaround and things like that, man. But Marshawn Latimer is a dog. And if that dude truly stays healthy this year, we're going to see a hell of a football player, man. And I think you're going to see him more motivated than he's been in years past, much less I think that's going to continue not just this year, but next year and the years on. And I think that's why he's going to re-sign here, which, again, goes back to what I was talking about earlier with the Brian Robinson reason that you're going to move him is we're going to have a lot of vets that need to re-sign. You're going to have positions where players are not going to re-sign because they're getting old and, they're going to move on. Whether that's the Bobby Wagner, maybe he does come back for another year, maybe he doesn't. We just don't know. But again, there's a lot of veterans that are going to need they're going to want re-ups, man. It's going to be Laramie Tunsil, Marshawn Latimer, Debo Samuel, Deron Payne, and guys like this, man. So, it's a lot of money that you're talking. And, that's why AP has to be forward thinking about how to get assets for some of these players, man. I could see us maybe even moving a veteran down the line. Maybe it's one of the players that we're not going to re-sign next year, just like in the same way we're doing this Brian Robinson thing like we did Jahan Dotson last year. Maybe we're a mover this year at the trade deadline, man. Not because you want to get weaker, but because you're like, man, I can get an asset for this player right now. We have somebody in the pipeline that's really showing really, really well at that same position. Maybe you recoup a third-round pick or something like that, and then you're looking at having an extra third-round pick this year that you weren't looking to have because of the Tunsil trade. Last year, we didn't have a third-round pick because of the Marshawn Latimer trade. So, it's things like that. And, we actually did because of the Jahan Dotson trade. But again, you're looking to recoup. We're going to be active. We're going to be active as far as we're adding vets. We're going to be active as far as trading vets to recoup some picks and move forward in the draft, because the draft is going to be the lifeblood of this organization. Again, man, another thing that I did see, man, I really like our front, man. I like how active they are. I like the way that they use their hands. Dietrich Wise, man, was a guy that showed up and I really, really liked. He looked good in the run game. He even showed some in the pass game. I could not believe the Bengals played Joe Burrow as much as they did, but especially the way that we were getting after him. But it was something that I was looking to see from this team from the pass rush standpoint, and that is just, it is not one player, man. We do not have the TJ Watt. I mean, you can say Frankie Louvu because he is our best pass rusher as his own entity, but man, when I'm watching this defense, man, it's 5, 6 guys, 4 guys, whatever it is, man. The way that they line up, the way that they're deploying them, they all get after it and they work well as a unit, man. Like Deron Payne and Johnny Newton, man, like I saw one play where they did a stunt, and that was the play that Dorrance Armstrong actually got the pressure because he stunted in, and they had actually had Jerzon Newton go out, and then Deron Payne kind of shot like the gap that Jerzon Newton was in that Dorrance Armstrong came into. Man, just things like that, man. It's like I said, it's going to be schematic. It's going to be working as a whole. It's going to be the team rushing together as a unit, and whoever gets there. You make the play when you get there. And yesterday they did that. They did that the other day. So that's the things you want to see from this team, because you truly do have a skill set on the back end. So if you guys can make the quarterback think a little bit, on the back end, and then that gives the time for the front to get there. Linebackers can rush and things like that. I think the linebackers played much better. Duke Riley and, you saw Frankie Louvu out there. You saw Kane Madrano out there looking much better this week. So I just, honestly, man, I was very excited from what I saw from the defense. Of course, the first drive, like I said, when they had Higgins, they had Jamar Chase. They went down there and scored, man, but it took everything they had. They got in the fourth down multiple times. The defense was looking really, really good. They weren't just giving up 8 yards on the first play. Coverage was really good. They looked like a much better team than what we saw in the Patriots game. So I expect when we get to the Giants game, man, this defense is really going to compete. They're going to play their tail off. They're going to look really, really disruptive. And then you have the threat of this offense that we haven't even seen collectively as a whole. We haven't seen Terry McLaurin. We haven't seen Laramie Tunsil. We haven't seen Brandon Coleman on the field. We haven't seen a bunch of this offense together. Same thing with the defense, man. We have not seen the whole defense together. I think when we get to the Giants week 1, man, it's going to be pretty freaking exciting what we're going to put on that field. We're going to put really, really good tape on that field, and I think we're going to give the Giants more than they can handle. I think we're going to blow their asses out of the water. I mean, now it's week 1. They're going to be coming in. Russell Wilson, how do they look? I expect the Giants defense to be playing pretty well with Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Brian Burns and all those guys, man. Dexter Lawrence, man, they got a front. They do. They have a front, but so do we. And I expect us to give it back to them. And then basically this is the last thing I am going to bring up, because Terry McLaurin wasn't at the game. That was kind of it was excused. Dan Quinn says it's excused, but you can just tell that it's weighing on this team. I'm going to hit this from a perspective of thinking about at some point, a decision has to be made. The decision has to be made from Terry McLaurin. We all love 1-7 here, man. Terry McLaurin's a hell of a football player. There's nothing. There's no question about it. We are a much better team with this guy on the field. There is not a scenario where you don't want this guy on the field. For it to drag out this far, there's only one thing that it can be at this point. Of course, it takes two to tango. So when I'm thinking about this from a standpoint of both sides, I agree with both sides. If I am AP, I'm not giving you $35 million a year. I love Terry McLaurin. If there was no salary cap, I'd give him whatever he wanted. But from a team building standpoint, you can't do that. He's 30 years old next all season. The contract doesn't even kick in until he is 31. That is a huge factor. So while we love Terry, we are fans. Terry McLaurin in the Detroit game, giving you everything you've ever wanted to see from that man. Just breaking the game open in one of the most exciting playoff games. Actually, the most exciting playoff game in the whole playoff, schedule. Much less it was us. It was us doing it. We won. We went into their house. Trust me, we all wanted that moment for Terry McLaurin. As fans, it was a great high. But at the end of the day, let's be very, very honest, man. $35 million is way too much for Terry McLaurin. I love Terry McLaurin. Go get your money. I want to see you get your money. But it's to the point where the player has to make a real decision. The player really, really needs to, I think, take this negotiation over. Or he has just been fed something crazy, or he is overestimating his value. So you're getting to a point in this where you have to draw a line. As the GM, are we trading him? Are we moving him? Or are we doing? Honestly, I just posted this yesterday on the Football Forum, man. It's getting to the point where it's you have to call Terry McLaurin and Buddy Baker into your office as AP, and you have to be look, here's two contracts. There's two contracts on this table right here, and there's two options that you have, and this is what you're going to get, and this is what it's going to be. So you have contract A. And honestly, I would have a picture of Jaden Daniels right where it signs, and I would just be this is max value. This is 28, 29, 30 max. Whatever your max number is for AP. Whatever the team's max number is, this is the highest contract that we're going to do right here. It's going to have a picture of Jaden Daniels on it. Terry, we love you. This is the max we're going to offer. This is the guaranteed money. This is the closest we can get you to the DK Metcalf, the CeeDee Lambs, the top four, the guys. Everything that you are valued at from everything that you've done, we appreciate you. We love you. This is the highest we're going to go. And then there's contract number 2. I would have every picture of every quarterback that he's ever played with here before Jaden Daniels. This contract right here is for 25 million guaranteed. AAB. You're gonna get $55 million at signing. This is the contract that the Commanders will probably want to give him at the beginning of the offseason. This contract right here is we're gonna let you go out. We're gonna let Buddy Baker call every NFL team in the league. You're gonna assess your value. You're gonna see if you can get your $33 million. AAV. You're gonna see if you can get that DK Metcalf contract. This is the contract that you come back to us with. If you don't take this first contract over here, this is the contract that you're coming back to. And we will go no higher. So you either take this deal right here. This is the deal. This is fair. This is us meeting you in the middle. Or this contract, you can go Buddy Baker can contact all 31 other teams. See if you can get that DK Metcalf contract. See if you can get us that late first round value in return. And if you come back and cannot meet either of those demands, this is the contract you're coming back to. $25 million per, 55 guaranteed at signing. This is the best contract you're going to get from here on out. Whether it's next offseason we franchise tag you, you are under contract. You're either going to play for us this year, you're going to sit out, but it's your move from this point on. And your pick. But when you come out of here, these are your options. Because honestly, man, they have overplayed their hand. There's not a $33 million contract anywhere in this league. I don't even think the Patriots would give it to him. I don't think the Vegas Raiders would give it to him. I don't think any contender Anywhere we give it to them with their cap situations. When I'm looking around the league, when I'm looking at every other team on Sport Track and looking at their cap situations, there's not a contender in this league that has the type of cap space that can make this deal possible. So they'd have to be making moves. Again, it's just like the Bengals situation with Trey Hendrickson, man. They want a player in return, a young defensive player. Well, it's like, no, dude, you're not going to get that. I'm not going to make you look smart for holding him into the season, and he missed our whole training camp, so now he's behind on the playbook and everything like that. Like, no, your chance of getting a 1 was around draft time, and I don't think you were going to get a 1 then, much less a young player in return. The player in return is the draft capital that you're going to get for your player. So again, Trey Hendrickson, a little bit different situation than Terry, but both of them are ultimately under contract. So again, when I'm looking around the league, I'm thinking about this as a whole. I love Terry, but that's if I'm not AP. AP knows much better than I do how to handle this, but it's getting to the point where it has to get to something. So the player has to make a decision, and I think ultimately they have to understand that they overplayed their hand. You're under contract, so ultimately, are you going to hold out, Terry? Are you going to really mess up your legacy like that? Which is why I said I would put the pictures of the quarterbacks in the contract. That's bullshit. Realistically, it's not going to happen in real life. But, I think at some point, Terry McLaurin has to realize, is $28 million, $29 million, is that bump and raise? Is the respect level that you're getting being in the, Brandon Ayuk, the, Amon-Ra St. Brown's, the T. Higgins neighborhood, is that disrespectful? Is that not right kind of where you are? Is that neighborhood disrespectful to who you are as a player at this point in your life, in your career? Is that really that disrespectful when you get to come in and play with Jaden Daniels and have a real run at a Super Bowl? Now you got Deebo Samuel and Jalen Lane across from you. They're going to take some off of you so you can even produce more. Dude, at some point, man, like, I love Terry and I want to see him here. I never thought we would get to this point, but just like at the end of the day, like, is Jaden Daniels and $60 million guaranteed worth more than the current contract that you're on, that you're about to be forced to play with because you're just like drawing a line in the sand that you're not going to negotiate with the team because you're not getting a figure that you want? Like, is $33 million and Drake May or Geno Smith worth more than $28 million and Jaden Daniels in a real chance at a Super Bowl for everything you've been through at this point in your career, Terry? I would say fuck no, man. Like, I mean, honestly, pardon my language, but dude, like, at a certain point, the money doesn't beat the environment. And like, you've played in that Dan Snyder environment your whole life. Like, do you really want to go play for another team that you don't even have chemistry with their quarterback? Like, after all these years of playing with the Dwayne Haskins, rest in peace, and like the Colt McCoys and the the Fitzpatricks and the Heinekes and like all these things, man. Do you really want to go from Jaden Daniels to that? Is $5 million a season worth that? Whatever it is, man, after taxes, it's not even $5 million. So whatever it is, man, like, dude, like at a certain point, like, what is it worth to you? Again, not my business. Like, I'm not going to give anybody financial advice. I'm not going to give a millionaire financial advice. I'm not going to give somebody in my bracket financial advice, man. Do what you do, man. Do what feels best to you. But just that's my 2 cents on this whole situation. No judgment here. I want to see 1-7 strapping it up for the burgundy and gold until he retires and hangs the cleats up, because I think he has a chance to be an all-time great here on this team, and he has certainly done everything in the valley of his career early on with all the things that went through, and now I think he could really ascend to the level that his talent really is capable of with Jaden Daniels here. I want to see him get his money again. Love Terry. But again, it's up to him to sign that contract. It's up for him to ultimately make the deal. So that's my 2 cents on it. I really never planned on talking about it after the certain point, but it just kept getting to a point where it had to be discussed. Again, wish Brian Robinson all the best. Hope that Terry McLaurin signs here soon. Very, very excited for this season loading. We have one more preseason game against the Ravens. We're going to see a lot of depth players. I don't really care about the score at all. Get out healthy. You're not going to see anybody that's first or second string starting on that field. I think Josh Johnson's gotten the third quarterback spot ripped up. or locked up. Marcus Mariota's not going to play. I'm sure Jaden Daniels won't play. None of the receivers are going to play that aren't pretty much first, second, or third string. You're not going to see any of the D-backs out there. Maybe Noah I is going to be out there. Quan Martin won't be out there. Will Harris won't be out there. So, again, you're not going to see Von Miller at all preseason. So, we got the Ravens game coming up, and then it's off to the season. So, off to the races. Hopefully, we got some Terry McLaurin news coming at you soon. Whether it's a trade sign, whatever it is, I'll keep reporting on it against my against my desire to do so. But this is the Blue Chip Podcast by fans for fans. Your host, Cody Potter, out. Peace.